Former President Bill Clinton may find himself facing old scandals long thought buried, and the left may actually be the ones holding him accountable. According to The Washington Times, a poll was conducted among American voters asking whether they thought the sexual harassment allegations against Mr. Clinton are credible. The poll revealed that the stunning 48% of Mrs. Clinton's voters thought her husband was guilty of sexual harassment. The poll was conducted by the Huffington Post /YouGov on Wednesday, questioning voters for both Mrs. Clinton and President Trump. It asked a number of questions regarding sexual harassment allegations against specific prominent individuals, like Harvey Weinstein or Mr. Clinton, along with more generalized questions such as the prevalence of sexual harassment. The stunning revelation, that many of Mrs. Clinton's voters think her own husband is guilty of sexual harassment, is quite stunning. The rest of the survey revealed that only 14% did not believe the allegations, 27% felt more information was needed, and 11% were undecided. Less surprising is that 84% of President Trump's voters believed the accusations were credible, with only 6% thinking they weren't. Independents were similarly in agreement that Mr. Clinton was guilty of sexual harassment, with 53% saying the accusations were credible and only 10% saying they weren't. This survey seems to closely mirror the trend of left-wing media and their suddenly turning on Mr. Clinton following the large number of sexual harassment allegations against other prominent members of society. Over the years, sexual harassment allegations against Mr. Clinton were largely ignored or discredited by the left for political reasons. One shocking example was the allegation made by Juanita Broaddrick, who claims media covered up her rape allegations until after Mr. Clinton's impeachment hearing. It was a correspondence between TV personality Chelsea Handler and Miss Broaddrick. Miss Handler said in her tweet, "Imagine being molested by an older man. Then that man denies ever doing it and then goes on and gets elected to United States Senate. What kind of message does that send to young girls everywhere? And men, to all the men who abuse women?" Miss Broaddrick responded with a sickening tweet, "Yeah, at Chelsea Handler, I can imagine. I was raped by the Arkansas AG who then becomes governor and president, and NBC held my interview explaining the rape until after his impeachment hearing. But I'm sure you don't want to go there." Given Mrs. Clinton's failed presidential run and the limited political power and influence her and her husband now have, it would seem liberals and media are more willing to criticize the former president for his actions and the left for covering up the allegations. New York Times columnist Michelle Goldberg wrote in a piece titled "I believe Juanita that she thinks Democrats have a lot to atone for. Democrats are guilty of apologizing for Clinton when they shouldn't have." She also stated, "It's fair to conclude that because of Broaddrick's allegations, Bill Clinton no longer has a place in decent society." Of all the people who voted for Hillary Clinton, 48% believe Bill Clinton is guilty of sexual harassment. Do you believe he's guilty? While it's good news to hear that the left is no longer covering for Mr. Clinton and want him to be held accountable, it is extremely depressing that they waited until he was no longer useful for their political agenda before turning on him. It's also chilling to think these demands for justice and acknowledgement of the accusations would have never happened had Mrs. Clinton won the election.